Awesome. All right. So thanks for jumping on the call tonight. I put a poll on the Hard Hitters page asking what you guys need help with, and it was a resounding recruiting, like help with recruiting. So we're trying to put some things in place to really help you. Kinsey did a call on recruiting 2 weeks ago, and she's a 5-star on Team Hard Hitters. And then I also asked Andy if she would help do a call on recruiting to kind of share how she does it, because I think the cool thing is there's no right or wrong in this business. You kind of have to find your own footing, your own, what works for you, your own voice when it comes to recruiting to your team. And the cool thing about that is you're going to draw in people just like you. So when you go to events, when you grow a team, you're going to be surrounded with like your best friends, which is really cool. So that's why I wanted to bring Andy on here. She's a 5-star diamond, 2-time elite coach, right? 1-time elite coach, gonna be 2, right? And so 1-time elite coach, one of the top coaches every single month in Team Hard Hitters, always has been. She's so consistent in what she does on social media and showing up and hitting Success Club and being a top volume earner. She's one of those people I never have to worry about because I just know she's working the business and she's showing up. So anyway, I asked if she would share her tips on recruiting and kind of how she does it, how she teaches her team to do it, because she has a killer team underneath her now that she's grown a team. So I wanted her to kind of share all her goodies. So I will mute myself and go ahead.
Thanks, Kelly, and thank you for asking me. I'm like nervous. I host my own calls every week, but I'm nervous. But anywho, it's nice to meet you all. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Andy. I'm a mom of 4, and I do Beachbody full-time, which is almost laughable to say that because I have 4 children, and I don't have a nanny or a housekeeper or anything like that. So basically, I, since day one, have worked this business in the cracks of my day, and that is probably the biggest thing that I talk about on social media, like consistently, is how you can build a significant business through Beachbody in the cracks of your day. Because for me, the biggest motivation was and always will be wanting to be home with my kids full time. I think I was just, it's so innate in me to just do the mom thing and only the mom thing. So working outside the home, I just struggled with it. I was a nurse. I worked for almost 10 years as an RN. And Beachbody came into my life at a time when I said no so many times to my coach about the business opportunity because I had all my own preconceived notions about it, about this type of business, about this company, about all of these things that I really knew nothing about. So that's where I want to start, is the mindset of recruiting. When you think about the word recruiting, if you like cringe and like feel icky or salesy or whatever, you need to stop that right now. Because if you feel that way, just when you think about recruiting, just when you think about talking to somebody about coaching, then I hate to break it to you, but you're never going to be able to build a business. You have to start with a positive mindset with what you have to offer. Because the truth is, if I would have stayed in that mindset, thinking I knew everything about network marketing and everything about Beachbody and thinking that only, 5 people could ever actually make money in this, then I wouldn't be sitting here right now, almost 6 years later. So change your mindset first and foremost and be brave. You really have to put yourself out there. It's one thing to invite to a challenge group, and maybe even that is still a little bit scary. I want to encourage you right now to start inviting to coaching too, because the only way that inviting to coaching gets easier is by doing it all the time, consistently, over and over. So I'm going to share with you, I think I have 7 of my little tips, 8 tips that hopefully will help. But I want you to, tonight, before you go to bed, write down, when you think about recruiting, what automatically pops in your head. And if there's any negativity there, I want you to cross it off, and I want you to write down something positive. How can you impact somebody's life by offering this? Whether you signed up as a coach last week or you've been on the team for a while, you have something to offer people, because this opportunity is real and it is here for the taking, and everybody has a level playing field in this. And I have to remind myself that all the time. I have to remind myself of where I was when coaching came into my life. I was not in shape. I was working night shift. I had 2 small kids, and I thought that my plate was way too full to do anything like this. And I didn't want to do this. I kept telling my coach, I have a job that I love and I don't want to do any sort of business like that. So think about, what do you think about when recruiting, and think about what made you say yes, and use that to fuel your fire, and also in social media, which we'll talk about. So you're going to flip that upside down, flip that script. And maybe you don't struggle with the negative mindset around recruiting. And if not, then that's amazing. Run with that. So first things first, you have to own it. You have to own what it is that you have to offer other people. We always say your vibe attracts your tribe. So when you come across confident in a one-on-one conversation with somebody about this business, again, it doesn't matter if you just signed up or you've been doing this a long time, you come to the table confident, that person is way more likely to take you serious and listen. And we all know that whether we're inviting to a challenge group or to the business opportunity, the initial invite is planting a seed. So you have a choice with interactions with people to plant that seed or to not. And I guarantee you, every time you choose not to, there's no way that person's going to come to you. Because if you're giving off this vibe that you're kind of nervous about what you do and you're kind of unsure about it, and what that portrays is that you don't believe in it. So you don't have to be a 10-star diamond elite coach to believe that this is something amazing. You already know that. You've seen it on the team. You are making moves in your own business. You already said yes. So let that fuel your fire when you're talking to people. Number 2 is recognize things publicly on your social media. Stories is so great for this. So there's so many different ways you can do this, from the big things to the small things. When you get your paycheck on Thursdays, make it a note, make it a habit. Be consistent with every Thursday sharing something about the money side of things, of coaching. How did you spend your paycheck? And it doesn't have to be icky. I don't go, hey, I made X amount of dollars and guess what? I'm going to go pay my mortgage. I just try to breadcrumb what I did. Our dishwasher broke yesterday. I just did a little rant yesterday about how, rewind 5 years ago and our dishwasher breaking would have been stressful, just going to Home Depot and buying a new one. But we just went and bought a new one yesterday. And that is relatable to other people. Or I remember when I first started, my very first paycheck was $32 because I sold one bag of Shakeology. I was so excited. I talked about that. I made a post about it. Stories didn't exist, about how that $32 went towards filling up my gas tank. Those are things that will be remembered in people's brains as you are planting those inviting seeds, those little breadcrumbs of what this business is actually doing in real life, in your life and in other people's lives. That's like watering that seed so that they can see how this translates into real life. You can use other people. On the team. Talk about how other people's success in this business. Did somebody have a question? No. Sorry, a little bit of feedback. Recognizing big things, milestones that you're hitting in your business. When Kelly posts the recognition boards on Fridays, that's another good way to show off the community that we have on this team, and what people, not just yourself, but what this is doing for other people on the team as well, so that people can see that there's so much that we have to offer as coaches outside of just the finances, but also the community and the support and all of that. So always recognize things. I like to make a note of recognizing on social media on Thursdays because it's payday and it kind of just makes sense in my brain to do it that way. Number 3 is be consistent in inviting to the business. If you, like I said, if you never ask somebody, the answer is always going to be no. And the truth of it is there's so many coaches out there that are inviting. So if somebody, even if it's, somebody you consider a good friend, if they're watching you on social media and they know that maybe you're coaching, but you never ask them, they could go sign up with somebody else. That's happened to me before. Even people who you might think aren't looking for an at-home business opportunity, they might go sign up and sell something else. That was a huge thing that happened to me years ago with my cousin, she was somebody who I knew she had the right personality and the right drive. I didn't think that she would actually want to do an at-home business, so I never asked her. And now she's one of the top doTERRA whatever they call themselves. I'm not quite sure. And that was like a stab in the heart when she called and said, I'm so excited about this. And what stopped me from asking her was the fear of her like judging me for asking her. And she literally told me when she called to tell me she signed up for doTERRA that she would have been a coach, but I never asked her to be on my team. Yes, that still stings. So don't put other people's words in your mouth. Don't assume that other people don't want to do this or that they already know what it is and they've already made up their mind, because they could be like me and think they know and they really have no clue, which is typically the truth. Be consistent in inviting your challengers. So I have had more success across the board on my business helping challengers become coaches, because in my opinion, it's easier to get somebody to want to sell the products if they already love the products. And that's how I came into this business. I was a challenger first. I was on my journey. I was addicted to Shakeology. And then I was a discount coach for a solid 6 months before I decided to take on actual coaching. But sorry, my family is so loud and distracting me. But every single month, I look at who did I get my success come points from the previous month. And I don't say that to be crass, but it's just an easy little check to go into my back office and look at my people or go into my challenger group and see, okay, who purchased for the first time last month, and I invite them to coaching. And it's as easy as saying, and I learned this from Kelly on one of the very first team calls I was ever on. I simply say, you're doing amazing in the challenge group. I love working with you. It's so great to see you doing so well on your own journey and you're inspiring other people. Have you ever considered becoming a coach? And I leave it at that. I don't lead with the discount. I don't lead with, hey, you could do a full-time business, blah, 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 and like word vomit all over them. It's just a simple recognizing that they're doing amazing in the group, that you love them being there, that they're already kind of doing what you're doing, and then just asking them, have you ever thought about it? And the responses will be all over the board. There's definitely been times where I've had people say, yeah, I just don't even know what you do. Well, then there you go. The door is wide open to share with them. Sometimes people say, no, I couldn't do what you do. That's an opportunity to share with them what you actually do, because they might think that, like I was, they have no time and there's no way, and you could enlighten them a little bit, but you're opening that door for them. And then if this is what I do, if in terms of the business, they're like, no, it's a hard no, they're just not going to do it. That's when I offer the discount, because if they're loving Shakeology, we want to keep them on Shakeology. And the truth, at least for my business, has been that if they stay on as a challenger, it's rare that they'll stay on for the long haul with Shakeology. And it's rare that they will add on Energize and Recover and these other products. I do have, my diehard challengers who buy all of the things and will never sign up as coaches, and that's great. I will forever take your commission, but I always offer the discount at that point, for 2 reasons. One, I want them to stay on their health and fitness journey, and I just think it's the most fair thing for them to know that they can get a discount. And 2, that's how I became a coach. And not everybody comes in that way, but I signed up as a discount coach. I kept telling my coach, I don't want to know about the business. I don't have time. All she did was put me in Teampage, and I started snooping around, and I listened to a call one day and I was hooked. And in that moment, it was a defining moment in my life where I decided, why not me? And I ran with this business from that day forward. So you just never know. So that's kind of my system with turning challengers into coaches. And I'd say most challengers who do want to at least stay on Shakeology will turn into coaches. Number 4 is host sneak peeks if you're not already. And if that scares you, if you've never done one, team up with somebody. Ask Kelly, ask me, ask anybody. Ask somebody who's never done one also, so you guys can just create something from scratch and do it together. Be brave about that. Bring some hype. Talk about it on your social media. Talk about it on your stories. Really build it up. But plan, this is another little tidbit of homework if you aren't already doing sneak peeks, plan when you're going to do one, put it on the calendar, and tell somebody for accountability. I'm going to host my first sneak peek on September 30th, and I need you to hold me to it. And I plan to talk about it on this day on my social media, and every day on my stories until it happens. And the sneak peek can be anything, you guys. It can be one day where you're going to go live. It can be in an event on Facebook. It can be a separate page on Instagram that you create. It can be a behind the scenes of your entire day, literally what you do from the time you wake up till the time you go to bed on your stories, but you're hyping it up so that more people tune in on that day. I host a sneak peek at least once a month, and I think that having some sort of like theme or hype around it kind of helps all of the coach invites I've had them to that point. And that tends to be when I sign up challengers to coaches too, because it's like I've already planted that seed that maybe they should coach, and then they're seeing all this stuff on social media, and then they'll sometimes, not always of course, then they'll come to me and be like, okay, I'm curious about this. And doing it month after month after month, just like with, again, inviting to challenge groups, it's not often that the very first time you ask somebody that they're going to say yes. So being consistent with those sneak peeks is important. Number 5 is share your fears and objections openly in your posts. I'm not reading. Yes, challengers.
You're
good. Coaches, sorry.
There's no like question.
Okay,
yeah.
Just wanted to be sure. I just saw it popping up. Wanted to be sure. The best way to counteract any sort of objections that you're assuming people have is by talking about it. Talk about how you felt. Maybe you didn't have any objections to coaching. Like I said, certainly did. So I still talk about it all the time, how skeptical I was, what I thought about it, how I wasn't in shape, how I had no time, or I thought I had no time. Now I really have no time. What is the biggest obstacle for you in your business? Talk about it, but also talk about how it is changing your life, how it's impacted you so much. Talk about the how it helps you stay accountable to your own fitness goals. That was another thing I talked about on a rant on my stories last night, was that I truly don't think I'd be as accountable to my own health if I didn't have this business attached to it, because I just know myself. I was never able to get in shape and stay in shape until I became a coach. It's the best accountability there is. So that's going to speak to the person who struggles in that area. And maybe you making a post about that that's trying to recruit brings on a new challenger, because they're like, oh, well, you know, I at least need to see what she's doing in terms of her fitness, because she keeps talking about this being so great. Number 6 is don't be afraid to ask your close friends and family. Don't make the mistake I did by missing out on somebody who would have been top 10 in Beachbody and said she's top 10 in doTERRA. Don't make that mistake. The worst somebody can do is say no, but then at least you know they don't want to do it. But if you don't ask, then it's always a no. And the likelihood that they're just going to come to you is honestly slim. At least that's been my experience. People want to be invited. They want to feel included. They want to feel like you want them on your team. You might think, if you're stuck in the negative mindset about recruiting, that you know, people don't want to do this, so you're just going to keep quiet about it. But it's very much the opposite. There's so many people out there who need an extra income stream. There's so many moms out there who want to be home, but instead they're working outside the home. Why did my hubby bring you to me? Sorry, girls. And then make a list of your dream team. So this is homework number 3. I want you to make a list of your dream team. People you know, or even people you know on social media who you're like, that's the girl I want on my team. And then you bring the heat. This is where that confidence comes from. If you have a list of dream team, they're not all going to sign up. We know that. But there has been people on my team that I have gunned for. Like, I'm getting that girl on my team. She doesn't know it yet. And I invite, and when I'm at events, they're the people that I send voice memos to, like, hey, I wish you were here with me right now. I think that showing that level of like how much you want that person on your team is huge, because like I said, it's a very personal thing to ask somebody to do this with you, and people want to be part of the party. They want to be on our team. We have a rad team. Talk about something else that you can lean into and talk about on recognition day is how rad our team is and how many killer coaches there are on this team. There's just so many great things that you can talk about there that help attract people to what it is we have to offer. Yes. Number 7, talk about who you want on your team. Be specific. You don't want everybody on your team. You don't want the person who's going to ask you a million questions and want a million phone calls and then literally does absolutely nothing and can't even figure out how to get on a Zoom call. Sorry, you don't want her on your team, because that's not going to get you to where you want to be in this business. That's not a CEO mindset that anybody and everybody. Delaney cannot be on my team because she's messing up my hair and she can't talk. You can't be on the team yet. So in your post, be specific. I'm looking for a hardworking mama of too many children who is ready to hustle for what she wants. Talk about the fact that this isn't always easy. Talk about the fact that it takes time and consistency, because it's not a quick fix. It's not a quick turnaround. So you don't want to attract people who think it is, because the people who think it is come and then they leave. You are so loud.
She's so cute. She's really not too loud. We can totally hear you. Yeah.
Okay, as long as you can hear me. So homework number 4, and I'll try not to give you any more homework, is write down who that person is that you want. It can be the person that you were when you signed up. It can be the person that you are now. And honestly, this is somewhere that I struggle, because I'm like, I don't really want the Andy that I was 6 years ago, because she was kind of lazy and she didn't know what she wanted and she was wishy-washy and she worried too much about what everybody thinks. But I want the Andy now who's like, I have 4 kids and right now it's like really hard and I'm going to get up at 4 a.m. and I'm going to do my power hour, because this business gives me joy and life and keeps me home with these 4 crazy kids. Like, I want her, the girl who's going to do that. I want the mom who's willing to put in the work and take the sacrifices and not watch all the Netflix right now, because she wants what she can have down the road. She can see past the hard right now to get to where she knows she wants to be. The extra stuff for kids. I want to be able to put this little one in dance and not have to worry about how expensive that crazy stuff could be. Say those things. Be confident in that, because this business can give you that and it can give her that. So you need to talk to her. And number 8, have a system for inviting. If you just say, I'm going to start inviting to coaching, you probably won't. So what does that look like? Are you going to specifically invite to coaching every day? How many people? Are you going to pick certain days of the week that you're specifically going to focus your invites to coaching? How many a day and what days? Are you going to do a kind of more of what I do, which is the beginning of the month, I'm really trying to fill my challenge groups. So I'm focusing on talking about fitness, talking about my groups coming up, talking about challengers, and inviting challengers. And then the later part of the month, I'm going back to the people who signed up last month. I'm trying to convert them to coaches, and I'm talking more about coaching, and I'm hosting my sneak peek. So I'm looking on social media for more coach type people that I want on my team. Delaney, you are not. So those are my 8 tips for recruiting. And if anybody tells you they don't have time to do this business, then they are wrong.
That was awesome. Those are all great tips. I love that you don't want her, because we've all had her on our team and you don't want her. I love that. Does anyone have questions for Andy? Someone has to ask a question. Wasn't that like a rule on another call we just had? Someone has
I will. I guess, can we get so inviting for coaching for the business side is just my biggest fear. I keep saying, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I've talked to 2 challengers consistently and I constantly get no from them. So I am going to go and use exactly what you said and invite a couple other people that they're not even doing like Beachbody consistently on my page. They're like running and doing other stuff, but they're freaking awesome people. But can you just kind of, I guess, guide in like the system side of it? Like how I don't have a lot of followers. I don't have a lot of new people always joining. So I have a limited supply of people to talk to, I guess.
So I'm glad you brought that up. You need to focus on expanding your network. for sure. So definitely make that a top priority, and then set a goal. So if it's 2 new people a day that you're going to invite to coaching, you're going to look specifically for those people, because say you find somebody on Instagram or you've been following somebody and you're like, wow, this girl's rad. I really want her on the team. Just reach out and ask her. You're planting that seed. A lot of times when you invite to coaching, people go, I don't know what you do. Like, what? But if they go to your page and your page shows that you work out and you're fitness-based and you're on this team or whatever, a lot of times they'll sign up as a challenger. And then basically you're going to be inviting them to be a coach, in a couple weeks.
You invite them, like just random people, even if they're not challengers, you're not friends with them, they've just been following your page and liking some stuff, you would send out that message that you sent, like, hey, but then you wouldn't say like, hey, you're inspiring, you're awesome.
Yeah, no, I absolutely would. I always build people up in my message and I try to be really real about it. If I go to somebody's page and I'm like, gosh, this girl would be an amazing coach, I'm going to tell her that. And I'll even say like, I don't know if this is something you've even ever heard of before or if it's anything you'd be interested in, but I just have to say, because I think that you'd be really great at it. And sometimes I even acknowledge, like, I know I don't even really know you, but I just felt like I had to reach out and say this.
Okay.
So whatever, like, you literally think when you go to that profile, if they've been following you, and especially if they've been liking your stuff, that's like a door is wide open for an invite.
Okay. So would you invite as a coach before you would invite as a challenger then?
Most of the time I'm inviting as a challenger first, but if it's somebody where you think they would make a great coach, go straight for the coach invite, because it's easier to fall back to the challenger invite. You get a lot of objections or like, I don't even know, whatever. Well, then I always say, well, would you want to check out the programs that I use first and see if you'd like them? And then a lot of times they sign up as challengers, and once they're loving the challenge group, then I talk about coaching again.
Can I ask one more question? So just in a bind where you said like I have to build my following, I guess my issue is I didn't have a big Instagram page before, and my Facebook page is like my family page, which I add. My husband wants me to keep it private, which I understand. It has all of our life pictures of our son and everything on there. So I do add people if they request it, but and I've been trying to remember to keep, I forget to do it, but to make any of my workout posts or like any of my coaching posts public. But how can I build, I have like 600 followers on Facebook versus 200 on Instagram. How can I build that Facebook following with my page being private?
If you're not going to make it public, I wouldn't even, I feel like it's really hard if you're not going to make it public. Mm-hmm. So if that's like a hard no, I'm not going to make it public, then I would focus on Instagram.
Okay.
Hey, Tara, I had like a similar concern because the reason I said no to Kelly like 12 times or something, I don't know, the number gets bigger. I think it was only 5 times that I said no to Kelly. Was because I was really worried about actually my other life, which is like I'm in academia, and so reputation is kind of a really big deal. Mm-hmm. And so it was like I was really worried about what my online social media profile would look like if I started to integrate a bunch of Beachbody stuff. And so I actually created a fitness page, and like it actually has been sort of helpful because I can dump all of that stuff there and have those pictures there. And what I've noticed is it's been like slow to grow, but now I'm slowly starting to get people who like my fitness page who I've never met. Because like my friends will share something from my fitness page or something like that. And I don't post, I don't have kids, but like I don't post super personal life stuff there. I post like, basically I have a Monday through Saturday posting scheme that I use, and I post consistently there.
Yeah, I had a business page, but then with Kinsey, she had said just because Facebook and business pages aren't super friendly, that she was like, I had to focus more on my personal page, and it's not up to me. It's my husband who doesn't want me to do it. If it was up to me, I'd make it public in a heartbeat. Even if like it was just for like weekends and times here and there, just to keep building. Right now, I'm just following other people, and then they follow me back. So that's what I've been doing.
You already have 600 friends over there, though. Have you gone through that friend list and invited?
No.
Absolutely do that, and at least work with the people who are already there on
Yeah,
that
I've been
basis.
doing some to challenges. I have been. So
I was going to say
I
the
started
same.
doing that, and I've started like a system of keeping track of everybody.
I was going to say the same thing, like grow your Instagram, but then like work with the people you have on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because that's still a huge number of people.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
There's some questions on the side, Andy.
Okay.
What do you say to people who say they love their job and don't need anything else?
Well,
But they do. Oh, but they do.
That's a good question. I would definitely default to a challenge group invite at that point and hopefully get them really jazzed about the products and the workouts and go from there. That's probably what I would do. Because people who say that, I feel like they are hard to convince. I mean, that's what I was saying, even though I wanted to be home. So you never know. I think sometimes that's like people just say. But I would try to get them in a challenge group. Or the other angle you can take is like that, that's great. You don't have to leave your job to be a coach. There's tons of people who work full time, tons of people way more successful than I am in this business who still choose to do their full-time job and coach, because coaching brings so many things above and beyond just finances. That's another thing.
Can I add something to that, if that's okay? So I struggled with that a lot because my why or whatever is not to be home with my kids. I love them, but I love my job. And so I struggled with that. But I would, if you're having somebody saying that, Cynthia, you could even highlight the community and the sisterhood that I received that I never knew I needed, like really highlighting that. And then like you can have more too. You can do it all, really. I think there's always that potential to build them both, have a great career in the job you love and a business, and that accountability of being a coach is that extra layer that some people might need for their career or whatever. That's just my 2 cents, but
absolutely spot on.
Stacy also had a question. She said, Andy, you're the Success Club queen. I'm assuming you're using these same principles for Hitting Success Club. Any light on Hitting Success Club, please?
I invite all the time. Basically, if you are liking or commenting on any of my stuff and you fit my avatar, you're getting an invite from me. And if you ignore me or say no, I will invite you again if you're continuing to like my stuff. Because again, I think this is just how I feel about it. So you need to evaluate how you feel about how you got into this. But I would not have just seen somebody's post and joined them. My coach was my neighbor. She personally invited me several times. She gave me packets of Shakeology that I told her were disgusting, that I would never buy. Like, I was the worst. And she continued to invite me over and over. And I will forever be grateful for that, because she changed the entire trajectory of my life. Like, this little one probably wouldn't even be here if she wouldn't have consistently and persistently invited me. So that's how I run my business. I'm very persistent with people because I believe so much in what we have to offer that I'm going to keep inviting you. And of course, I don't get ridiculous. I do have a system for that. If I've invited somebody 3, maybe 4 times and just been ignored, like, I'm not going to invite you again. If I've invited you and you've ignored me, and then I invited you and you said something like, ooh, now's not a good time, or, I could never do what you do, or anything, like, I would rather somebody tell me no thank you and then give me some sort of reason, because I can work with that. Because I'll come back to you next month and say, hey, now I have a new group and it's this new program and you're going to love it. And I know you told me you don't have time, but this is only 20 to 30 minutes. That gives me something to work on. And the truth is, this health and fitness is very personal to most people. So it takes more than one invite. Right now, my system is I get up every morning between 4 and 5, and my goal is to send 50 invites every day. And these aren't all brand new invites. Like I said, sometimes it's people I invited last month and they ignored me or they said no. If it's a hard no, like, I'm not going to badger people. I'm not going to bug them. But if it's a no, but with like a reason why, that I'm like, dude, that is 100% an excuse. I'll see you again next month. They're getting another invite. because at least in my business, it's rare that I send an invite and right away they're like, yay, sure, sign me up. It takes talking to somebody a couple times. And what's happening behind the scenes, I truly believe, is they get that invite, they ignore me because they don't know me. I mean, I'm so far beyond my warm market, it's not even funny. So I'm not working with anybody new that I actually know in real life. So I'm hoping that invite is making them go to my page and creep and see like, whoa, this girl is working out every day. Oh, she is running a team. Oh, she, and hopefully I'm like sparking interest. So then next month, now she forgot about me because I had her attention span for 5 seconds. Now she doesn't think about me. She doesn't watch my stories, nothing. But next month she liked something. So somehow I popped up on her feed. I'm going to invite her again. And then so I do that Monday through Friday, 50 invites. And of course, there's days where it doesn't happen, but it is rare. If it doesn't happen in the morning or one of the kids gets up way too early, I make it my mission to get those invites in because that has been the bread and butter of my business. And obviously I'm very consistent on social media. And then on Saturdays and Sundays, I follow up. And this is a system that I started right after she was born because I've been doing this business now through 2 more babies and 2 pregnancies. So anytime when the babies came, I had to kind of switch up what I did, but I didn't take my foot off the gas because I promised myself I would not. So what I started doing right after she was born was anytime, this is my tracking system. Sorry, it's not really recruiting, but since you asked, anytime somebody says anything other than no, or if they say like, no, thank you, not right now or anything like that, I write their name down. I don't write their name down if they ignore me, but if they say anything that's not a hard no, I write their name down in the notes in my phone. So then on Saturdays and Sundays, I go through and I just send 50 follow-ups each of those days to those people. It literally takes me maybe 20 minutes because all the people are right there. What I'm saying in my follow-up is basically another invitation to whatever group I have coming up. This past weekend, I was inviting to my last wave of MM100, and I just said a couple sentences of like, hey, I have this last wave of this rad program going, and I just wanted to extend one more offer. Do you want to get in on it? And I'm just sending that message out to all these people. And that's typically when people say yes, is when they get the follow-up from me.
So what about the people hey girl, whatever, that first message, and they don't say anything? Do you follow up like the next month again? Do you keep track? You said you don't keep track of those.
I don't keep track because I'm using all direct messaging or Messenger on Facebook. So I'm not going to write their names down. If I come to them, I see where I was at in the conversation before and then decide if I'm going to invite or not. But yeah, if I sent a message last month and got ignored, if it was just like a conversation starter or something, the reason that I'm seeing their name again to even potentially invite them again is because they liked something or they're watching my stories. So they're somehow paying attention to what I'm doing. So they're absolutely getting another invite. And I switch it up. It's not the same wording. It's, when that's happened, I go to their profile and I'll like and comment on some of their photos because I want them to know that I'm like paying attention to what they're doing too. And that's how I'm engaging with them. And then I'll absolutely send them another invite.
Sorry, Cynthia asked, she missed the first 2 of the homework assignments.
Oh, let me look at my notes here.
I know one was it write everything you think of when you think of recruiting and cross off all the negative thoughts?
Yes, that was number 1. Number 2 was write down when you are going to host a sneak peek and tell somebody. Get that on the calendar. Come here, love. Come.
Okay, I think that's all the questions that I see. Does anyone have anything else to pick Andy's brain about before we jump off tonight? Jillian does.
Yeah, I just kind of curious, like, how do you balance, like, what percentage of your people are discount coaches, or like, how do you kind of like strike that balance? Is it sort of like you try to get everybody to be active business coaches, and then if they don't want to, that you do discount coaching, or do you kind of have a strategy for how you split your coaches?
So anytime somebody signs up as a coach at all, they get the same welcome email. And at the very beginning, and Kelly, you might still be doing this too, because this is what we adapted at leadership last year. The first couple questions or couple sentences after I welcome them to the team is I say, hey, watch this quick video. And it's me talking for about 2 minutes, basically explaining the 3 levels of coaching that they can choose from, either discount, hobby, where, you know, maybe you're getting your products paid for by helping a few people, or a career coach. And I say in the email, here's my phone number, text me after you've watched this video and let me know what you want to do. So whatever they tell me they want to do, I'm like, okay, cool. And I go at their pace, whatever they want. If they just want to be a discount coach, I'm not going to bug them to do anything more. I do, however, every few months, I go through all of my coaches, and all of my coaches are in challenge groups somewhere. So I'm already in touch with them. But if they're discount coaches, every few months I do reach out to them in regards to coaching and just ask them if they've changed their mind at all, or if they have anybody that they want to invite to the challenge groups. And I let them know, because typically they're getting results and other people are noticing. And even if they don't want to build a business, they've probably had family and friends say things. So a lot of times they'll say no, they still don't want to do the business, but they'll say that they have people that they want to invite or, you know, be in the group. And I just let them know that I will coach them if they want to bring their friends on. And I simply just share how to use ShareCart, how to send them a link, how to get them signed up. And then I treat them.
Sorry, Tara had asked if we had a quick welcome letter. Is that what you were referring to? The video Andy was saying, Tara?
Yeah. Just something like, I know we have the New Coach University thing, but even I thought that was a little overwhelming. Like, even though I knew I was going to go into this as a business, so do we have just like a quick, hey, welcome to coaching, blah, 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 and then I can make a little video and then put out my phone number? Because I didn't even do that. Like, 2 of my good friends are coaches and they're just discount coaches, but it would have been nice just to send it to them as like a formality, so they knew that, like, hey, if you ever really do want to think about this, you know, we can get serious.
Yeah, I can share what I say in my email, and you guys can take it and use what you like and leave the rest. It does, in the email, it does go on to talk about the New Coach training, the New Coach University. But I just figure if they're not really in this to coach, then they're just going to ignore all that, which is why I put the little video and my phone number at the beginning. So I'm hoping they at least read that and then let me know at that point.
Yeah, that'd be great if you could share that. Thank you.
So you also, and then can you also share the video that you send people about the 3 different levels of coaching and which way they want to go?
Yes, that's in my welcome email. I do. It's all one thing. So yeah, go share.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was something you sent them before they signed up. That's something you send them after.
After, yeah. Because I feel like sometimes even when you sign somebody up, this is what I've learned from doing it this way. Even when you sign somebody up for the discount, let's say you have a challenger, they decide to sign up for the discount. Well, then you send them this email and they watch that video. A lot of times they'll say, oh, well, maybe I'm more like a hobby coach. Like, I don't know that I want, you know, they're unsure, they're nervous, they don't know what to think. They probably feel like they don't have time for this. But a lot of times they'll tell me they at least would want to get their products paid for. So then I can talk about, well, do you have just a few family and friends that would want to be in a challenge group, you know? Keep it simple. The other thing that I think has helped with recruiting is after I've invited, if somebody says they're interested, they want more information, and I need to update this because it's old, but I do have a quick video, it's maybe 8 minutes, that I found that where I just share my story and what coaching has done for me, and then I also link the video that it's on Vimeo that I can also share into the team page. I'm sure you guys have all seen it, but it's just a quick, like maybe 2 minutes explaining what coaching is, and it's done pretty well. So I say like, okay, so I invited, and they go, sure, you know, I'm curious, or I don't know, but I hear what you have to say. People say that to me a lot. So I go, okay, you know, here's what I say. A little blurb about coaching. I'll say, I don't know what I say at the beginning. I can share all of this, but I basically say, if you have a minute, watch this video real quick. The first one is my personal story with coaching, and the second one shares more of the logistics of coaching, and then let me know what questions you have. And then those people, I absolutely am writing their names down. and following up with them. And the follow-up is just, did you have a chance to watch the video? What did you think? Do you think this is something that you'd want to pursue with me? Something like that. But I think having that personal touch of them being able to like see me and hear my story, and it's quick, I think that helps, rather than just a bunch of like, you know, if you're inviting through Instagram or through Facebook and then you're trying to explain to the person what it is, you can get pretty wordy, and then I don't know. I just feel like it helps to have a little video. And don't let something like that stop you. It took me a long time to do things like that, because who wants to film a video of themselves? Not me. But once I did it, I was like, oh, that wasn't so bad. It wasn't so hard, and now it's done. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to look perfect. You're just sharing your story.
Such good ideas. I just love how consistent you are, Andy. You're really good at that. Have you ever done a sponsored or paid post to recruit coaches?
I've done sponsored posts before. I can't say that I actually signed anybody from them. I do have a like page that I've been building from the days that like pages were actually doing something. So I definitely still post there. And so I ran, yeah, you remember that? I ran ads through that page for a while. I've never ran an ad through Instagram. I don't run ads anymore.
Do you do 21 Social, Andy?
I am, and I canceled for a little bit, a few months in the summer, and then I got them back. And my message from them was basically a straight up invite to coaching with kind of like a soft, like, hey, if you're not into that, but you're into health and fitness, or you wouldn't want help with your fitness, let me know. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I recently changed it, actually, to be honest, to a challenge group invite. I just felt like it wasn't going anywhere. However, my coach Cece, who's killing it, she's not on the call right now, but she's killing it. She responded to one of my 21 Social very cold coaching invites, and now she's killing it. So you just never know.
That's awesome.
I do think that if you feel like you don't have people to invite, whether it's challengers or to coaching, then your focus needs to be expanding your network and inviting and figuring out what your method's going to be for expanding your network. So I think that there's a lot of good information on YouTube right now. Make sure that it's current, like in the last month or two, about how to grow your network on Instagram. And I think looking at how you can find a call from other coaches who are doing it well, they have really good tips for us because they do what we do. That's where I've been trying to learn more about that, because Instagram is not my jam. I don't know if Kelly, you feel this way, but when we started, Facebook was the thing, and I felt like I had such a good thing going on Facebook. So transition to Instagram has been hard.
I used to think people that worked on Instagram were crazy. All right, guys. Well, we've been on almost an hour, and Andy's got another minion in there, it looks like. So we'll probably end the call. But Andy, thank you so much. Those were awesome tips. And if you guys have any more questions for Andy or I, you can always send questions to me. I can forward them to Andy, or you can message her directly. I'm sure she won't care. But thank you for taking the time, Andy. I know how busy you are. Until you're heavy, thanks for holding down the fort for you too.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. Have a good night. Talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Sure. Are you sure? It's somebody pooped. Who pooped?